Can you launch a product on Amazon for less than $1,000? One way that you can absolutely still do that is by doing what's called a test listing or a test product launch. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how you do an actual test listing or a test product launch with just 10 units, 10 or 15 units. It's going to cost you way less than $1,000, just a couple $100 to actually do a test listing for an Amazon FBA private label product. Test listings can be incredibly helpful, guys, for number one, seeing how the product sells first before you invest thousands and thousands of dollars into buying inventory, but also we can get an idea of how expensive the product and categories main keywords are by setting up a couple test PPC campaigns. Today, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know of how to get going with doing these test listings or test launches. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, welcome back. Those of you who are my subscribers. My name is Brian Noonan. I'm a full-time Amazon FBA seller, mentor, and coach. Right here on my YouTube channel, I release weekly videos covering everything Amazon, e-commerce, and NFTs. If you enjoy that type of content, do me a favor right now. Head on down and press subscribe. I can see each and every one of you who take just a minute to press subscribe, and I appreciate each of you. My job right here on this channel is to help educate, teach, impact as many lives as possible, sharing and documenting my journey of how I went from a struggling broke drug addict 8 years ago to building and owning multiple six-figure online businesses. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, well, welcome on inside the video. So let's jump into it. So why is doing a test listing worth your time and beneficial? Really, there's some main benefits of taking the time to do a test listing. Because if you invest into the wrong product or go into a product that's too competitive, too saturated, too many other sellers, you have a hard time figuring out how to differentiate. You can also do that with your test listing a little bit. Maybe the keywords for PPC to rank for the main keywords, to run PPC advertising campaigns is going to be too competitive or too costly. And maybe all of your money or your profits go to PPC, so you're barely breaking even. Or maybe you're stuck with the product sitting at the Amazon warehouse in storage, and so you're racking up storage fees. So taking a little bit of extra time, it only takes a couple extra weeks to do this test listing. So let me show you how you do this. You can really do these test listings with just a couple $100, but you probably will need to be located in the United States because you are going to have these products, these test units, 10 to 15 test units sent to your house. You probably will need to be in the United States to do these test listings. The only way around that really would be to find a 3PL that will work with you and, accept, package, label, and ship just 10 or 15 units for these test listing. But let's go over how to do a test listing, test launch, to find out the product will sell well before investing into 300, 400, 500, 600, even 1,000 units or more and spending thousands of dollars on the product. Let's first validate it's a good product, it's a good category, it's a good niche, the product sells well, and you can make money with it. So the benefits of running this test listing, guys, is to see how expensive the product's niche and main keywords are going to be to run PPC. There's really no other way to know for sure how expensive keywords are going to be to rank for your PPC, how hard they will be to rank, other than running PPC on them. So that's what we find out by setting up, let's say, an example, like one manual exact match campaign. So we can see that after this, we're ready for this test launch to go live. We can see how competitive a market or niche is, how many sellers there are. Can you come in as a new seller and a new brand and make sales and start ranking? Number 3, to validate demand, right? We want to make sure the product will sell well because we're going to be setting up a very basic test listing, guys, like with just 3 images, 3 simple bullet points, a very simple title, a higher price than we would actually list it and launch it with. So a combination of a very simple listing, 3 images, 3 bullet points, high price. If the product sells well with all that, with just that, that's a really good sign that it'll sell well when you do the real official listing and product launch. So this can save you thousands of dollars by not investing into the wrong product that's too competitive, too saturated, and you're left with a product that doesn't sell, costing you high monthly storage fees. We have Q4 coming up. That's going to be even more on storage fees. You can also get charged overage, cubic meter fees by Amazon, which is really expensive. And you can be left with high PPC costs if the category and products keywords are really expensive. You end up all your profits going to PPC. So steps for doing this test listing. Maybe you've never heard of a test listing, or when I say test listing, you're thinking of like a dummy listing. Okay, this is different from a dummy listing, guys, or a skeleton listing. A skeleton listing or a dummy listing is just where you go into your seller account and you create the listing, let's say, 3 weeks before you're going to launch. You create the listing, you save it. That's kind of a draft listing, a dummy listing, and then you see if Amazon suspends a listing or they email you and say you need approval to sell this product. That's kind of a dummy listing. But what test listings are is actually going through the entire launch process. We're buying inventory, we're shipping inventory to the Amazon warehouse, we are setting up a full brand new listing, we're actually going live with 10 to 15 units, we're setting up PPC. We're not doing any of that if you're just doing a dummy listing to kind of see what happens. Also, the downfall of just doing a dummy listing or a skeleton listing is a lot of times Amazon will actually let you go ahead and send the inventory to their warehouse and then suspend the listing. Or maybe they even let you start selling for a week or so. Then they send you a restriction notification your listing's been removed and you're freaked out because you have 500 units sitting there and you can't sell the product. So there's a big difference between just doing kind of a dummy listing that just sits in your account and does nothing versus an actual test listing where you really find out how the product's going to sell because you're going live with a real new product listing and inventory. So step one for doing a test listing or a test launch is you are going to need a product, right? You're going to need to find a product idea. The example I'm going to be using today is this over bathroom sink shelf. Let's say I found this product on Etsy, and that's what's working the best right now, guys, for finding new products. Etsy, Pinterest, TikTok, finding products off Amazon, like on TikTok and Etsy that have good, strong demand, up and coming niches where you can be one of the first sellers to the market. So I found this on Etsy, over the sink shelf. If you go onto Amazon, there's really not a whole lot of over the sink bathroom shelves on Amazon yet. So that gives you an opportunity. Yeah, there's this one, barn bathroom countertop shelf. There's that one that's just launched, looks really nice. I bet it's doing well. But you can see these other ones are like back of the toilet, just a tray, kitchen sink, a corner in the kitchen, a long shelf, a kitchen sink, a tiered shelf. Not a whole lot of this over the sink shelf specifically for the bathroom vanity counter. So this is the types of products you're going to want to look for. Unique products where you can be, like in this case, seller number 2 with this product. You'd be seller number 2 with this product on Amazon. So that's what's working the best right now. Don't try to sell this under the sink organizer. There's thousands of products already on Amazon for under the sink shelf, or those kitchen sink shelves over the sink, dish racks, or even the ones behind the toilet. There's already hundreds and hundreds, potentially thousands of those on Amazon. You wouldn't want to do those. That's too competitive. So I have a product research checklist down below. You can download that, which will go over some of the main kind of checklist items you want to make sure your product meets those criteria. We need 2 to 10 main keywords that have over 2,000 or 3,000 search volume or more. We need at least 1 or 2 or more sellers on page 1 to be making $5,000 or more per month and making over 300 sales. Now this one is brand new. This example right here, this one's brand new, but the price looks good. The reviews are low. If it was making around 200 or more sales at $50, that would be a good sign and almost be enough demand for me to validate that it'll sell well. Then as long as there's 2 to 10 main keywords for this product that have over 3,000 search volume, that would also be a really good sign. So use the checklist down below to find a couple product ideas or just one product idea to start with that meets most of the criteria. So now that you have your product idea, you want to test it, see how it's going to sell. What's the next step? We need to buy 10 products or 10 units of that product. Now, where can you buy just 10 units? Because you probably are familiar with buying one custom sample from like 2 or 3 suppliers and getting a sample sent to your house of that product from Alibaba and your supplier. But where would you buy 10 units? I would go onto Etsy here and I would buy these 10 units right here. I'd buy 10 units and pay $18 per unit. There's, $200 roughly it costs me to get 10 units, and I'll have these 10 products shipped to my house. Then once they get to my house, so you can get them from Etsy. You can check with a supplier on Alibaba if they're willing to make just 10 samples for you and ship those to you. It probably will be much more expensive than just buying it off Etsy though. And then the third option would be to actually order a version of the product on Amazon. So you could potentially order this one if there's no brand name on it. You can't have the brand's the other brand's brand name on there because you're making a brand new listing under your own brand. One tip on brand: do you need to enter a brand name for this test listing? Ideally, you do already have brand approval for your brand, but you've submitted pictures of your product sample, but you probably aren't going to have that at this step, just doing a test listing. So in this case, only for this test listing, not for your official real listing. It is okay to enter generic or NA for brand name, okay? You can put generic. So the system allows you to go ahead and create the listing. So that's where you'll get these 10 units is Etsy, Alibaba from the supplier, or on Amazon, just a generic version of the product. You'll get those 10 units sent to your house. Once they arrive at your house, they hopefully will be individually packaged. So you'll have 10 products in a box. Then you're going to need to create the test listing because each of those products will need to be individually packaged. So you have 10 products in a box, right? Okay, so now you have 10 units at your house. You have 10 products in a box. What's the next step? Now we need to actually create the listing, right? We need to set up the actual listing, this listing, for example, where we have the images, we have the title, we have some bullet points, and we have some images, and we have this description. This is a good example of a very basic listing. This seller maybe, no, they're not doing a test listing because they've got a lot of reviews, but possibly it was a test listing at one point, and the other one they took down. The next step is to create that listing. Now, what will you need to be able to create the test listing? You're going to need these items. One GTIN or UPC barcode. Now, you can only, for your real listings, use GS1 barcodes. You can buy one GTIN from GS1 for $30. You can buy 10 UPC barcodes from GS1 for $250. But for this test listing only, guys, just for this test listing only, it would be all right if you wanted to buy like a secondhand barcode, UPC barcode from nationwidebarcode.com. They're like less than $10, I think $7. You can get 3, something like that from nationwidebarcode.com, but you cannot use those types of barcodes, any other types of barcodes except from GS1 for your real listing. But for your test listing, it is okay to use a cheap barcode. But note that you will not be able to reuse the barcode. So if you have 10 UPCs already, if you do assign one and create this new test listing, you can't reuse that, okay? So the other option is you can get a GTIN exemption if you are eligible. So you can come in here to your seller account. You can go to catalog, add products. You can scroll down here and it says, what's a GTIN? Click on learn more. Then you can scroll down and click on right here, how to request a GTIN exemption. Number 1, apply for a GTIN exemption page. Click there. And then here, guys, select the category. So this product, the over the bathroom sink shelf, is in home and kitchen. So I would do home and kitchen. And then I would type in my brand name. Let's say Brian's Designs. Okay. And then you click check for eligibility and it'll tell you right there if you're eligible for a GTIN exemption. Most of the time, guys, it's going to say no, you have to submit for brand approval. So you can just go ahead and enter generic for your test listing. But for your real listing, you will need to get brand approval. I have other videos on my channel. Make sure to check those out on how to get brand approval. And then the next step later on is brand registry and trademark. You'll also need a finalized product title. So for an example, this is a very simple title. This would be all right. Rustic barn, bathroom countertop shelf for over the sink. I would probably add like 4 to 6 more words here to make it just a little bit longer. But again, this test listing, just very basic listing, a very basic title, but try to get some main keywords there in your title. Next, we just need 2 to 4 product images. Where do you get these images for the test listing? You can get these from your supplier or just take a couple simple images with your iPhone and then use Canva, which is a free tool to make the main image on a white background. Also, you can make the infographics there and the lifestyle image, or pay someone on Fiverr $10 an image. Send them the pictures you took of the product and then ask them to make your white background image, main image, an infographic image, and a lifestyle image. You really just need 3 or 4 images, guys. Again, we're keeping it very basic for the test listing. We also want to write out simple, short, 1 to 3 sentence bullet points. Those are going to be these right here. 3 to 5 bullet points would be fine. Very simple. Add those, and then a very short description. This is a very good example here. This is a very short description where you just expand further on the main selling features and why the customer should buy your product. So a short description, a few bullet points, 2 to 4 images, and then your listing is going to be all set up, guys. So you'll need the barcode, you'll need a product title, item name, you'll need bullet points, you'll need a main image and a couple other images, and you'll need a description in order to create your listing. Now, it may also ask you for the product dimensions and sizes. That'll be for one product in a box under the shipping tab or more details tab. For the price under the offer tab, let me show you here how to create the listing. All right, guys, how to create the test listing. You're going to log into your seller account. You're going to go to catalog, add products, and then come down here to I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. On the next page, guys, you can search for the product category, bathroom, sink, shelf. and then search. Then we're going to want to select the correct main category and subcategories. So here you can see this one down here is in tools and home improvement. That's not the right main category. So make sure you choose the right category. You can look at your competitors' listings to figure out where they're listed in their main category and which subcategories they're ranking in. But this is an important step. So let me check this one. Bathroom, home and kitchen, bathroom accessories, holders and dispensers, bathroom trays, maybe home and kitchen, storage and organization, bathroom storage and organization, bathroom trays. Okay, here, I'm going to go with this one. Home and kitchen, bathroom shelves. Click select. Then on the next page here, guys, is where you're going to actually create the test listing with those items I talked about of what you'll need, right? So you'll need the product identity. That's going to be your title right here. Enter your product title. Brand name. You can go ahead and select this does not have a brand or enter generic. External product ID. This is going to be your GTIN that you bought for $30 from GS1. For the real listing, for the test listing, it can also be that. It can be one of your UPCs if you have one, or you can enter a UPC from Nationwide here. Item type name, that's just your product name again, short version. Model number, you can just do 001. Model name, you can just do, over the counter shelf for the bathroom. Manufacturer is going to be your brand name. Offer tab, what do you set for the price? Quantity, you can enter 0 for now. It'll go live with those 10 units once we go to the next step and ship those products in. Your price, set a high price, guys. So if you eventually want to sell the product for real at, let's say, $49.99, set a price of $59.99. Go $10, $20 higher than what you would actually launch it at. And then condition is new. And then the fulfillment channel is Amazon will ship and provide customer service. And then it may ask you to provide some safety and compliance stuff. Country of origin, China. Actually, if you get these from the U.S., it'd be U.S. Are batteries required? No. Dangerous good regulations, not applicable. Item weight. This would be the weight, and then it asks under shipping for the size of just one product in a box. Images, upload a main image, product details. Upload a short description. This is where you'll enter those 3 to 5 short bullet points. Then you'll be able, product description goes here, bullet point number 1, bullet point number 2, bullet point number 3, bullet point number 4 goes there. Special features, okay, this is going to appear above your bullet points in most cases, so do fill those out with a couple main selling features. Usually those are going to appear right here, okay? That's going to be important to do right there. So now that you've kind of got the listing created, the next step is to get the FNSKU. So you can get the FNSKU by inside your seller account, going to the right-hand side of the listing, click the down arrow next to edit, and click print item labels. That's your FNSKU. You will need to buy from Amazon what's called 30 up labels, or from any office store, 30 up labels. This is for the FNSKU. You'll need to print out 10 FNSKUs, and we're going to need to label 1 FNSKU barcode on each of the products. You'll also need half-page labels. These are the shipping labels, because the next step is to create the FBA shipping plan to tell Amazon, we have 10 units coming to your warehouse. So you'll do add contact, or you do create a new shipping plan, send replenish inventory, add contact. The ship from address is your house. Add your house, create a new case package template, call it the product name. The case package template, is over-the-counter shelf, sink shelf. Then you can go over the sink shelf. Then you're going to say, I have 10 units. If you can get all 10 of these units in one box, then you'll have one case or one box with 10 units. It'll probably be more like 2 shipping boxes or 2 cartons, 2 shipping boxes with 5 units in each. Then your case package template would be 2 boxes of 5 units for a total of 10 units. Then you're going to select the Amazon Partnered Carrier Shipping, which is UPS, to actually pay for shipping right inside your shipping plan. You're going to pay for shipping through UPS. Then you're going to have the FNSKU on each product. You're going to have the UPS prepaid shipping label printed out on normal printer paper or those half-page labels. And you're also going to have the FBA shipping plan box labels. So you need 3 barcodes. You need the FNSKU on each product box. You need the prepaid shipping label on those bigger shipping boxes. And you need the FBA label on those bigger shipping boxes. So you'd have 2 prepaid labels from UPS and 2 FBA box labels if you have 2 boxes of 5 units, the larger shipping boxes that you're shipping in. Then you're going to drop those products off at the UPS store or schedule a pickup right from the UPS website, right from your house. And then you just wait about 5 to 10 days for the product to get to the Amazon warehouse. One important thing when you do create the listing in here, guys, is make sure you do set the launch date and the future launch date. This is going to be important here for launch date. Okay, well, it will be under here, under one of these tabs. It's going to be a launch date, offer start date, release date, merchant release date. Make sure you fill all those in to, like, 5 to 7 days after you expect the products to arrive to the Amazon warehouse. Then, guys, we're going to be ready for the next step, which is once those products arrive, those 10 units arrive to the Amazon warehouse, we're going to need to launch the product. We're going to launch the product mainly with PPC campaigns, competitive price, but a slightly higher price than normal, and coupons. So I would set my price to $59.99 plus a $5 or 10% off coupon. Then we're going to need to set up some PPC campaigns. Make sure to check out my other videos. It'll be part 2 where it's manual Amazon PPC campaign setup for manual keyword targeting campaigns. I recommend setting up at least 1 to 3 manual exact match campaigns for the product. Have 1 to 5 keywords per campaign, and you would use Cerebro tool to pick the main keywords for the product. So we're going to go into Cerebro. I have my competitors' ASINs up here. I'm going to go search volume 1,000 to 30,000, organic rank 1 through 75. Click on apply filters. And then you can come down here. We're going to pick out the best keywords for this product based off the data. So we want search volume, bathroom countertop organizer. That's great. Has a lot of competing products and a high title density. So keywords are important, guys, for listing optimization and for PPC. You want to pick out like your top 10 to 30 main keywords based on search volume, highest IQ score, positive search trend is nice, lowest competing products, lowest CPR number, and for the title keywords, the 2 to 5 main keywords in your title, the lowest title density as possible. Also, we want to include very relevant keywords. So bathroom, sink are very seed keywords. I would want to go after those keywords for my main keywords. But you'll pick out, let's say, 5 to 10 of these best keywords, put those in the test listing, and set up like 2 manual exact match campaigns with 3 to 5 keywords in each. And we're going to run those. You can also set up, a manual phrase and broad campaign, just one campaign with those 10 keywords in this one campaign as broad match and phrase match in the same campaign for this test listing. Then we're going to let those run and we're going to see how does the product sell over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Do we make organic sales? Do we make most of the sales through PPC? It'd be nice if at least half the sales were organic and half were from PPC, or even better, the majority of the sales. Let's say 6 or 7 sold organically and 4 were through PPC. If it's opposite, if 8 sales we came from PPC and it took over 2 weeks and only 2 were organic, that's not such good data or not such good results for this test listing. And then we're going to be analyzing the CPC. We want to see our main keywords cost per click is around 150 or less. We want to see that the CTR is overall about a 1% CTR or more once you get a couple reviews. The spend, the lower the better, of course. Averaging $10 or under for cost per sale. Sales, the more the better. The keywords are converting. And then ACOS, the target should be around 75% or under in the very beginning. And then eventually, around 50, 30% ACOS or under after that. So if the product sells well and you sell through those 10 units in under 10 to 15 days and the PPC data looks good, that would be a green light for you to go ahead and invest into the product and buy 500 to 1,000 units and do an actual real product listing and launch. For a brand new listing though, guys, you will need to start a whole new product listing with a new barcode, new title, new images, everything, so you get the new honeymoon period. And so you can't use the same listing and you can't use the same barcode. Then you would send in, you'd send in 500 to 1,000 units and you'll start a whole new product launch. Because we don't want to use the same listing as before because you're going to be out of stock for so long, 30 to 40 days for manufacturing of those 500 units, 30 to 45 days for sea shipping DDP for those 500 units. So you want to not use the same listing. We're going to create a whole new listing for the official launch of the product for the best honeymoon period. And then you'll just follow the standard steps of other product launch strategies and building on the real review, on the real launch. Now, if the test listing and test launch didn't go so well, you can repeat this process with a different product until you find the one that sells well. You will have a clear winner though, and it really, really is helpful for doing these test launches, for figuring out how the product sells and how expensive it's going to be to actually rank and launch for those main keywords. Leave any questions you have down below, guys, on test listings and test product launches. I know I went fast through each one of these sections, but leave any questions you have down below, and make sure to check out my other videos on how to create the product listing, how to apply for brand approval, how to set up manual PPC campaigns. All of those videos you'll find super helpful and apply for even this test listing strategy. All right, guys, we'll wrap up there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on my next video.